Hello, welcome to ADHD Founders, a podcast about having ADHD and running a business. This week we talk about our individual product updates as well as just ideas in general. And when you have multiple ideas as an ADHD founder, how do you deal with that? Like, are you testing it or are you going more with your gut feel? So we kind of go through that process. And then we end the episode with some picks and plugs. So picks are usually just things that just random things that we kind of find in our everyday life. Some of them are technical, some of them are not, but just cool things that we find that we wanted to share with you.
Yeah, we also do a little bit of a deep dive into the product that Sharon teased last episode. Definitely want to check that out. You can support the podcast by going to patreon.com/ADHD_founders. Help us pay for editing and whatnot.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the episode. I feel stressed out. I feel like there's a lot of chainsaws in the air.
Like there's a lot of chainsaws for everyone right now. It's just kind of, I feel like there's so much chaos happening everywhere. And without getting too much into that, it's just kind of all present for everybody right now. I think there's just like a lot of this like extra weight that we're all sort of like trying not to dwell on or whatever. And it's just adding to the normal stress of the daily things that are in your own world. And it feels a little bit chaotic these days.
Yeah.
I think that I also have made this bed for myself because we're like launching a bunch of stuff back to back all at the same time, which is fun. But when you're, the whole marketing team, like it's the idea and then actually the execution and then the promotion and like all of it kind of butts up against each other. So I have such a long list of social content I need to make. I need to get my nails done so my hands don't look gross in the videos. Like I have like all these things colliding. We have our first physical product coming out, which I was just telling you guys. So I feel like it is like I just maybe am packing a lot in, but I want to because I really do feel like I'm kind of do or die. I really want to make impact and kind of see what consumers love from Shelpful. So I feel like I'm happy that is what I'm doing. It just feels like a lot.
It's interesting because I'm in a bit of a do or die situation now too. I mean, just in terms of like that pressure. It's weird, like a maybe ADHD thing, but like on one hand, there's pressure and that's stressful, but on the other hand, I kind of like it. I kind of like the pressure. Like it's like lighting a fire under me and I just actually do stuff. And it's sort of, I hate that it takes getting to this point for me to do stuff. Like to actually go, I'm so motivated right now to do stuff.
It needs something to kick in.
It's that night before energy when it's the night before the assignment is due, the night before this big thing has to happen. And then suddenly your brain kicks into full gear. And now you magically have all this like motivation and energy to do something that you couldn't do otherwise. And it's still stressful. You're still feeling the negative like stress and anxiety and stuff that is there. But you also kind of have this like superpower alongside to kind of like power through it and get a lot of stuff done.
Right. Well, like the deadlines that aren't artificial, right? Which is, I feel like as a founder, we don't have many real deadlines. They're often deadlines we make for ourselves and can easily just push back. Like, we should do that next week instead. And I think that I have some real deadlines right now, which is so helpful. Like, I mean, that's like, that was like what I survived on in college. All-nighter before the test. Boom. Got it. Done. Get the grade.
I feel like that's one of the biggest challenges of having ADHD and running a business is these artificial deadlines that you make for yourself. Just because of what you said, like they're artificial and in the back of your mind they're artificial and it doesn't work. Like that kind of getting that self-motivation to do something and it doesn't happen until you have that crisis moment of, oh my God, like something, it's so stressful now. The consequences are so big that if I don't do something, the business will fail. And it's
especially if it's like boring.
Yeah.
It's like a big or big. Big or boring.
It's almost like you're watching it in slow motion with horror as it's like, oh my God, it's gonna fail. It's heading toward failure. And then suddenly you get to that point where your brain switches on. But you're already at that point where it's so stressful. I don't know. It's some weird.
Yeah, I think that's right. For big things, I think my stress reaction is often just paralysis until like it becomes an issue. like until they counted emails, until they count emails twice or 3 times, or, you know, like those like things. I think the inverse can be true. Well, I don't know if it's exactly the inverse, but on the other side of the coin, and Marie, I think this, and Jesse, I know you can relate to this, is the spark of an idea and you just freaking do something on it. Mm-hmm. You're like, I have this idea and I'm just going to like hit record or type it out or code,
no better feeling
something
than
really
that.
quick, make a prototype, and I just like vomit glitter.
Magic.
I don't know what it means, but unicorn like good dust. Stuff. Just like it pours out of you. That was a weird way to say. The ideas pour out of you.
The ideas and the focus around it pour out of you. I had a moment like that last week because with Llama Live, we have one integration with another tool. So it integrates with Todoist, which is a big kind of productivity to-do list app. And Llama Life and Todoist complement each other really well because Todoist is like this catch-all list app. It's been around for a long time. It's very comprehensive. You can do a lot of things with it. And Llama Life is more about what are you doing right now, today, and this is what you focus on. And I'm going to get you through what you need to focus on today. So those two tools work together really well. And the Todoist integration broke because Todoist changed their API and the way the data is received as well, like the shape of the data had changed. And I got all these emails from people saying it's broken, and it was kind of nice in a way because I didn't realize how many people were using that and relying on it. Like they were saying, oh, it's part of my workflow. I really need this fixed. And I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, I've got to fix this. And I was so focused. I was working till like midnight and I was just like, I want to solve this. And
somebody needs this.
Somebody needs
fix
this.
It.
I don't want to let them down. I don't know. I loved it. And there was one night I worked till 3 a.m. and I was telling my girlfriend, like, oh, I stayed up really late. And she was like, oh, it's a bad thing. Like, you okay? Kind of thing. I'm like, I feel great. Like, I loved it. Like, I was so...
That was the good stuff.
It was so good. I felt so good. Like, you know, my brain was just working. Everything was just working. And I don't know. It's just like one of those moments where I was like, yeah.
It's like the switch went on. It's a fixable problem. You know how to do it. Somebody needs you to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, the somebody needs you to me is, I would say, maybe number one in my dopamine. Like the people pleaser part of me, but also just, I just don't want to let people down.
And it was also like challenge accepted. This broke. Yeah. It's, critical. It needs to be fixed. Like the problem is already out there and people are experiencing it. Somebody wrote like a really negative review on the App Store saying this thing had broke. Gave me 1 star because this integration had broke. But you know what? I wrote to them and I said, hey, I'm trying to address it as soon as possible. And they go, oh, sorry, like I'll change my rating once you release the fix or something.
Hold that over your head. That helps too.
Yeah.
Here's a better radio.
Anyway.
I mean, there is something nice though, just about I think you had said this when you shared that in the chat. Just like it never hurts to ask.
Never hurts to
ask. And that can make it different. Get rid of that 1-star review just by reaching out and saying, hey, I'm working on this.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like that's really helpful to know that, hey, sometimes it doesn't hurt to ask and you can make that thing go away.
But it was a perfect storm, like perfect ADHD storm for me. Like there was huge consequence. It was like a time boxed kind of thing, or not time boxed. It was more like urgency. I had urgency, high consequence, and wanted to not let people down and time sensitive, all the things I need. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Super focused. I knew what the outcome that I was trying to achieve. Like I knew where I wanted to be. It wasn't open-ended. It was like, I know I need to fix this specific thing. And it felt really good. So that got released. Took a little while for the App Store to approve the changes. So that's something to note, I guess. So usually, like if you submit regular updates to the App Store or Google Play, it gets approved maybe sometimes a few hours, sometimes like 24 hours. This time took days because I hadn't submitted an update for a while. And I think they almost were like, both the stores took a long time, like several days. It makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense.
I feel like that's been my experience. I mean, maybe because I'm a newer dev and so they've got like a shorter leash or whatever. Mm-hmm. But most of the updates I've submitted, I feel like have taken like 1 or 2 days, like never hours. It's always at least a day. Usually 2 days feels like when it roughly is. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days. And we release at least every 3 weeks since we launched.
Wow. That's roughly what I'm doing. Like every 2 or 3 weeks, I have a new update. And it takes a couple days usually. I think it's happened a couple times where it's only been 1 day, but it's 2 days is definitely like the average length.
Okay.
So maybe it's just gone up a lot in recent days. Maybe with AI, maybe they're getting a ton more people submitting stuff and creating stuff and trying stuff out. I have no idea if that's
It's easier to build apps because AI helps you code.
Yeah. So there may be some volume issue.
And I've had them give volume alerts like over the holidays and stuff. That it is like, I think weekends they're not reviewing. So I feel like if I submit something on a Friday, it won't get approved until like Tuesday usually.
Yeah, maybe it's just the time. I don't know. It felt like it took forever though. Because I was just emailing people back.
Especially when you're fixing something like you were doing.
You were just aware of it. Yeah. Like, you're like, the people need this. And all of a sudden you are now aware of time.
Yeah.
Before you were less so.
Google Play had something interesting. So this is for, any Android devs out there. So I guess the app's Llama Life's been out for a couple of years on Android. And it had this thing where it said, you need to upgrade something in your code stack. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember exactly, but it was saying you need to upgrade this thing, and it wasn't going to let me submit my build. But then it came up with this pop-up box, and it said, I was like, submit anyway. And then it did this pop-up box, and it goes, why do you want to submit it anyway? And it had a couple of reasons. And one reason was, this is more important than that other upgrade you are asking me to do. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I hit that, and then it went through. I was surprised that they offered it, though. Because originally it had it was all in red, and it goes, you can't submit this build until you fix this other thing. And I was like, really? Right. Really? And I just kept trying. And then it did this pop-up going, oh, what's the reason? And it let me go through. I don't know. It's worth trying.
That sounds like you're getting stuff done with Llama Life. How about you, Sharon? You mentioned your product, and I think you teased it in the last episode. So let's hear what's the physical product that you're pivoting everything to.
I believe it'll be like on my social media by the time we're not pivoting everything to it. Calm down. I didn't even hear that until 5 seconds later. It is a test. And so it's going to be a limited drop, 500 total available of Shelpful smart tags. So we made our own.
You have to describe it for our audio listeners.
Yes. It is an acrylic. It's a really slick acrylic case because smart tags, they have NFC technology. So it's like no battery required. You stick them on something and you can tap your phone to them to make something happen. And so what I really wanted, because I've really liked this technology for a long time, but the information's really scattered on it. And also the product quality is very scattered. And so it's like a kind of the deep, dark depths of Amazon is where you can kind of find these. And so I wanted like quality ones that I've tested. I also feel like it's hard for people to know where to start, especially people with ADHD. You get like a big bag of blank stickers and you just kind of shove them in a drawer. So this, like, the whole kind of purpose was to have it be like nice so that it's not something you want to throw away. It's a case that you keep that you can go back to. I work with my designer friend who's done a lot of design for like Michelin star restaurants. And so he has like a great kind of quality about like tangible physical objects. So we have just made it feel very like alive in the physical world. So we have little icons that represent different ways you might use the tags, but there's also blank ones so you can write on them. And so you can kind of, what I always say, like automate your life and put the laundry one on the laundry machine to start a laundry timer and start your workout when you are doing laundry. Put one by the door to start your departure routine, turn off your lights, send a text to your spouse. So like all the kind of things that you're fumbling around on your phone to do can happen easier, faster, better. And so this is kind of your, like the all-in-one start kit for it. And we have a very simple manual that is just, I know viewers can see it's very small for listeners, just like a 4-panel, tiny little manual that gives very clear instructions on how to set up your first tag. And then it comes with a free month of Shelpful, my AI task manager. So I'm really excited. I think people will really like it. I hope they do. And we're just gonna do this limited drop, see if people like it. And speaking of ideas, and we're gonna talk about things that happen. Like this is something that's been on my mind for a while, and it felt so big, so I kind of kept putting it off. But I really felt like I was doing a lot of the legwork, teaching people about how to use technology and how to use automation technology, and I'm passionate about it. And I also felt like people were asking me for recommendations on what to use, and I didn't feel confident to give them the perfect recommendation for them. And so it just was a confluence of one day I got a little burst of hyper focus, probably after like one of my videos did extra well. And I'm like, people are really asking the same freaking questions all the time. I want to help them. And I pinged my designer friend. I pinged my friend who has done some supply chain sourcing work. And they both were like, yeah, let's do this. Let me help you. And so we kind of got a little dream team together, had coffee the next day, and it was like in motion. And so it just kind of happened. And I hadn't even thought to ask them before, but I realized I wasn't getting it started myself. I knew I needed good design, and I fancied myself a pretty good Canva designer, but I wanted, quality, well thought out. So anyway, I feel really proud of it. They came yesterday. My friend Lisa, who helped me on the operations stuff, brought them by my house, and I swear I was crying because it just felt like this little baby that I've been working on for months. But yeah, I'm stoked. And so it'll be a limited drop, and it should be on my Instagram would probably be the best way to find it.
Did you film your tears for the content?
I tried to. Yeah, I wish I saw her coming. She said that she stopped by that night, and I actually already had my tripod by the door because I film often in that like corridor area at the front of my house. So I just threw my phone in the tripod, and I kind of got me opening the box, but the box is a little bit out of frame. I don't know. It's not.
Yeah, that's more genuine,
you have something,
right? Like,
you can use that.
It's content. People like the rough content where it's like.
I know. Yeah, and I look like crap, so it's really authentic too. It just worked out.
Well, that is so cool. For people that haven't seen your videos where you're talking through, like, could you give so you said there's stickers, right? So you open it and you could like take one that has a certain icon and stick it somewhere. What would that actually look like? Like walk us through kind of using those, how it's going to help someone's day life.
Sure, I'm happy to. So I think morning routine's probably a good one. We have this cute little icon where it's like the sun rising. But so imagine you have a little morning routine sticker stuck on your counter or on the wall in your kitchen, like where you're starting your day, by the coffee pot, maybe, like whatever the first stop you make in the day. So I always think about a place where I am fumbling, a place where I'm trying to do a lot of things at once, and where I am when that's happening. And so coffee pot would be a great one for me. And then what am I doing at the time? So my kids, I noticed that they're like a lot more calm in the morning. If I'm playing music, they're a lot less likely to start to kind of fight or get into it. So I'm always trying to put a playlist on in the morning, and I don't want to ask them what they want to listen to because that becomes a fight. So for me, tapping this with my phone. And so basically the instructions are in the case, but it's really simple. It takes like a few minutes to set this tag up with your iPhone using the Shortcuts app, and you give your phone a set of instructions. So the tag contains a chip that's essentially a unique ID. And then you're basically telling your phone, when this unique ID, this tag, comes close to the phone, then I would like you to do the following things. And then your iPhone takes over from there. So for instance, playing a playlist could be then bringing up a list of the things that the get ready routine that the kids need to do. So opening an iPhone note and then having the kids come look, all right, what do you guys like? And also because I have ADHD, I'm battling my brain, and then I'm battling their little tiny brains of all right, guys, it's eat and then brush teeth and then shoes and then, just kind of getting them through the day. So any of those little things, also setting a timer for 30 minutes to remind us to leave the house. Those just little elements that can kind of help grease the wheels for the morning. I feel like those would be really good things. But also the laundry example I gave, simple things like setting a reminder, setting a timer. Yes, you could say something to Siri. Yes, you could open your phone and just do it. But I literally drop my phone twice a day on average. And we know what average means, right? Sometimes it's 5 times a day. Sometimes it's 1. Because I'm always just fumbling. And there's always just so much going on. And so I kind of like the idea of I don't have to open anything. I don't have to open an app. I can just tap and something happens. And that's just it just makes my day feel a little lighter.
So with tap to pay, I double tap the side and then do Face ID, and then I can scan it on the thing. What do I do? Is there some similar sort of action that needs to be taken on the phone and then you hold it next to the tag?
No, there's no Face ID. There's no security step like a Face ID. When you set it up, you can optionally make it so that it doesn't run unless you confirm. So it could pop up this essentially kind of what Face ID is, which is like a stopping point where you're like, do I really want to do this?
Do I turn on the phone and hold it near, or just anything, even with the screen off?
The phone needs to be on and unlocked. Yeah.
Okay, so just unlock the phone, hold it next, and it fires.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's iOS only, right?
This technology and my tags specifically do work with Android. So there's an app called Tasker on Android. There's an app called Macro Droid on Android that does a lot of similar functionality for the purposes of just making sure it's like crystal clear and not like a big mess of instructions. This actually is intended for iPhone users because I give the specific instructions for the Shortcuts app. Android does so much stuff better than iPhone. I'm the first to admit it, especially these like cool, quirky features, but they do not have a native app for this, which means you often have to have an open to scan an NFC tag for Android. So
as an Android user, you can still buy this product, but the instructions will be different. Like you just have to Google how to use NFC tags or because I'm on Android and I've set up a couple of NFC tags as well, and they're really cool. Like it's essentially what you're saying. It's like a trigger. It's a physical trigger because you can see it. Because sometimes when triggers are invisible, you just forget. It's out of sight, out of mind. So it's like important what you were saying, Sharon. It's got to be in a place where you're gonna go, and you want to do the thing when you're around there. We'll trigger it when you're around there. So for me, I've got a little tag on my coffee table, and if I put my Android phone over it, it turns the TV on for me. And then I know I could just get my remote and do it, but sometimes the remote is like, I don't know where I put it. Like it could be, I might have taken it to the kitchen and left it on the kitchen bench, or I don't know, I could have gone to change some batteries and left it in the study. So because the NFC tag is on the coffee table, which doesn't move, and the TV is right near in front of the coffee table, it's always there. So I can just put my phone on top of the tag and the TV turns on.
And I think the next version I probably will, if this goes well, so iPhone users, if you buy this and you have friends who have Android, I will do a feature one that is specifically for Android, or maybe make an all-inclusive one, because we're also in the Shelpful app working on building some NFC integrations directly into our app. So there'll be even more reason to have, people who follow Shelpful, people who like AI and making your life easier, use these tags.
For your instructions, I can see that you've got them like printed on the little booklet thing, but is there a QR code that you can scan that takes you to a page? Because then you can just update the web page, right?
Yeah. So there's QR code and it's going to have the instructions are specific to, I do have shortcuts. Specific iPhone specific instructions right here, but I do have a QR code which will have a really short video, so if you don't feel like reading, you can follow along with the video, and that also is the place you'll go to get your free month of Shelpful too. So kind of bringing people there and also I'll have a lot of examples and a lot of downloads because I make a lot of shortcuts and you can link to them so people can download that specific shortcut. Saves a lot of time, just kind of fiddly effort. Some of the more complicated shortcuts can break your brain if you haven't done it a lot. Like time delays and there's some scripting that gets more advanced. So we start with the simple ones and teach how to do it yourself for sure. But then I have a little library of additional downloads that will be available to people who buy the stuff.
The script stuff's not as hard as it sounds though, because a lot of people just write the script, so you can just go and if it's in your library, Sharon, you can just go there, copy it and just paste it in. And
Apple lets you download it onto your phone, so it literally puts a shortcut onto your phone. No need to copy and paste. It's awesome.
I was gonna say though, you are a developer, and so there is that, because sometimes you need to tweak stuff, and shortcuts kind of feels like developer light, not in a derogatory way, but it's just like a lot of it has developer concepts in there for setting up conditions and all that sort of stuff like that.
Yes.
And like you said, Sharon, some of them can get wildly complicated and do a lot of stuff in there that can make it difficult. But like you said, as a starting point, you can just download it. And as long as there's not a bunch of stuff you need to fill out, you can really do powerful stuff without needing to know how to really navigate shortcuts yourself.
And this is where talking to your users comes in, because, when I first started talking about NFC tags, I was like, oh, well, I was selling, I did actually sell them once, kind of assembled them myself and did the whole thing. But it was very, very limited supply. And I sold them with a one-on-one call with me. So I've had like multiple one-on-one calls having people set these up. I've done multiple workshops that had like 10 people, 15 people, and I'm helping them set them up. And the questions, we don't even get to scripting on those calls. You know, like just the concept of like putting together these building blocks is new to many, many people, the majority of people. And so you're starting from like the people who I'm interacting with, and I think my core customer is starting from a place that's not very, very much non-technical. And so it's kind of it's an on-ramp, I think, for them to maybe even think about experimenting, building their own. And so that's kind of what this is maybe designed for, is that like, I like the idea of this, and it doesn't seem that hard. Maybe I could do it. And it's like, yes, you can. I'll help you.
And you can download other people's ones, like you were saying, just scan the QR code and the Apple ones or whatever, and someone else has created, just comes onto your phone, and you can go and edit them. Because sometimes it's more about like, hey, it's going to do these things, and then open this app. And you might go, oh, that's what I want it to do, but I want it to open another app. You can just go in there and change like the last step. So you can kind of use them a bit as templates if they're doing roughly what you want it to do, and you just switch out like one step.
I mean, I'd love for this to kind of grow and get way like experimenty and let people get way more complex in the things they build. It'll be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's maybe kind of an opportunity to kind of have like a Shelpful library of like quick, easy go-to that you can mention in like different videos where you kind of walk through one and then have just like an obvious like, oh, and go here to get that, get the link for this activity that I just showed you that you could do or whatever, this shortcut.
Isn't that what you have?
Yeah, I do that now. It's kind of like my version of a freebie to try to introduce people, because then when they go there, I have like 15 shortcuts on there right now, but I'll have better ones and prettier and more organized with this
and then
release.
Cross promoting that with the get the product in there
with the app. And I'm the workshop I've done. I wanted to do it live before I made a course, because I just wanted to continue to learn and like level set on where people are and in terms of like how much they know coming in. And so I'm probably gonna make that into a course that can go along with this too. So just kind of just helping people understand this, get their arms around it. And, Shelpful stands for super helpful. So I feel like that gave me, like, that always gives me license to like, if it's helping someone break through a barrier and like get something done they didn't think they were going to get done, or like feel less alone in the monotonous things in life, then I feel like I'm doing my job. And so I also, and I don't want to be too, like we were talking about it earlier, like I don't want to be too, I want to be flexible. I don't want to be too married to anything I've done already, because if an idea is striking and it's resonating, because I know it's resonating, because I have some on Amazon that I've linked to that I bought in the past. These ones are 25% bigger, much slicker. Like, they're definitely better. But I have an Amazon Associates thing set up. And so I see people are buying them based on my recommendation.
Yep.
And I'm just excited to have ones that I recommend more highly.
Yeah. I love that.
Well, I think it's awesome, because that's really your theme. That was your theme of the year, right? Like what you wanted to focus on was, trying different things, and you did it.
Was my word test? I probably should have written my own word of the year down.
Yeah, I think it was test. Was it test or testing?
I think you said testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had testing, early, and lean in.
Earlier.
I think those were
earlier.
Marie's was earlier. We edited it. And what was yours, Jesse?
Lean in.
So this was in place of
by Sheryl Sandberg.
Yeah.
What? What's that?
That's the name of the book by Sheryl Sandberg.
By Sheryl Sandberg. She was the CEO.
Oh, I don't know it.
Oh, really? I thought that's that's why you said it.
No, literally never heard of the book.
Well, it wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, it's
probably targeted more for women. So
it's about women.
Oh, lean in, women.
Lean in is specifically written women in their career, and to not leave before you leave, and
Well, I guess in the future really I'll say lean in, no relation or no connection to Sheryl Sandberg.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, like instead of setting like New Year's resolutions or like a goal, we set these themes, which feel better than a resolution to me because I feel like I never keep resolutions, but a theme is something that can run throughout the year, and maybe sometimes it's stronger and not, but it's just like a running thing.
I wrote mine down and I'm going to put it, sticking it. There we go. It's written down now. But yeah, you're right. I'm testing two things in March. And I'm also giving a talk at Neurodiversion on automation. And I have not started to write that or put that together yet. So that I guess it's another test because I haven't done. I've talked a lot about it. I just haven't done this specific talk.
Is there like a go-to place where people, when this episode comes out, will be able to check that product out?
I think head to my Instagram. I think that would be the best place. So my Instagram is at Shelpful, SHELPFUL, because that's when I'm gonna be like showcasing it there. That's where my biggest following is. So and all the links will be available there if there's still any left.
Oh yeah, you got to jump on it.
Limited drop.
Yeah, I know.
Very nice. Well, I'll give just sort of a brief update on me. I've mostly been still kind of doing Flux stuff. I haven't done anything. We kind of talked in the last episode about possible secondary app, only words, which is like, I'm still sort of, the idea is still percolating. Like I like the concept of kind of having this like card-based interface that's only word. Like it sounds fun. So I think I still want to tackle that. So I did an update for Flux, which allows OAuth login, which is kind of like the primary way. Where I didn't even know. I thought app passwords was the way people did it. And then as soon as I released it, everyone was like, oh, why is this using the legacy login method of app passwords? It's like, well, I did not know that it was the legacy way to do it. No, apparently not. I thought it was too. I thought that was like the way, but OAuth's
been around
the way
for a
everyone's
while.
recommending.
I feel like OAuth was around.
I mean,
before.
specifically with Blue Sky. Blue Sky, app password is the way that it used to. They would recommend client apps do it and stuff like that. And just sort of more recently in the last, like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, OAuth is out. And it's still sort of transitional because it doesn't have, like, it's eventually going to have much finer scopes. So like if you have an app that doesn't support certain things, well, then you can scope it to not need those permissions. So for mine, I need all of the general permissions plus the permissions for messaging because I do support direct messaging within the app. But anyway, so that was like my last update. And then I have a newer one that I think I'm maybe going live today or tomorrow as we record this. And in this one, I've done just like so much stuff. So there's like a million things coming out with the new update. Just a lot of it, I'm using it now as my primary Blue Sky app. Like I'm using it. And then anytime I run into something where I have to jump over to the official Blue Sky app to check something, then I like write that down. I'm like, okay, I never want to have to do that. Hopefully in like a couple of months, there will be no reason for me to go back to the other app. Because sometimes I'll have to do stuff like muting or blocking people. Like that's not supported in Flux yet, but it will be in the new update. And so things like that. And that was actually fun because somebody reached out to me and said, hey, I've been using the app and I really love it, but I wish you guys would, and I wish you would add support for syncing the mute list that Blue Sky has. And I was able to send him a screenshot of like, here it is. I'm literally working on it right now. It's coming out very soon.
So right now the app's free.
It's free, and but it has a premium version. So it has Flux Pro.
Right, for the colors and the themes and all that.
Yeah. So right now it's basically like an accent color that you can change out with the Pro, as well as changing the app icon. And I want it right now. All the app icons are based on the accent color. So there's like just like 12 different colored icons, but I want to get more into doing like fun, different app icons. So that's sort of down the road a little bit, do something a little bit more playful. So it's not just a color change, but actually kind of more fun dynamic versions. The other thing I'd mentioned, the OAuth that I've been working on. Now that I have that, I want to add multiple account support, and that will also be a Pro feature. And I think that will be the feature that will be more likely to get people to sign up for Pro. People that have multiple accounts and want to be able to quickly switch between them. So hopefully now that OAuth is out and people are using it and it seems to be pretty reliable, that will be sort of the next thing I think I tackle. But yeah, it's going well.
This is interesting, Jesse, that like kind of, I guess, a pattern of what we're talking about is like chasing an idea, because you were working on a whole different app called wavepal, right? Over the past few months. And so like, tell me about like what signals kind of pushed you to follow this and to like, you know what I mean? Like what were the glimmers that pushed you forward on pushing something out?
Yeah, so I don't want people to think I've abandoned wavepal or anything like that.
No.
But yeah,
Sorry. I didn't mean to make it sound like that.
right. But clearly that's kind of where my focus has been with Flux for the last kind of couple months. And it really started, I think, because I had done the iOS app for wavepal, and then I was wanting to do more iOS stuff, more React Native, and really kind of getting in there and trying stuff out. And so I had just been trying to think of like different ideas. And one idea that I'd thought about for a while was a Blue Sky app, partly because I just like the official one is fine.
You wanted it too.
Yeah, right? It was something that I wanted because like I love the old days of Twitter where there was like Tweety and there was Tweetbot and there was like Twitterific and there was all these different apps, and it was so fun that they were like innovating and trying out different things and sometimes borrowing from each other and sometimes trying brand new stuff. Like the whole pull to refresh came from Tweety, just as like this random idea that Lauren, the developer of that, had kind of come up with. And I love those days. And so the company that made Tweetbot, they're still around. 8bits, which made Tweety, is gone. Lauren actually worked for, that was his company. I think it was Solo. And then he was hired by Twitter for a while. And then I think that I don't think that company exists anymore.
I love the name.
But
I thought it was so cute.
But Tapbots is still around. And so Twitter did their whole API thing and that killed Tweetbot. But they do have Ivory, which is a Mastodon app. That's really nice. But they don't have a Blue Sky client yet. They've announced one, but it hasn't come out. And I kind of got tired of waiting, basically. And that was sort of why I wanted to make my own. Because I was like, I want something that feels different than the official app. And there's a few specific things that I had mentioned kind of wanting to feel more like an older, like old school social media rather than like full screen video and stuff like that. So that sort of like sparked it. And then kind of through December, through kind of that Christmas break, I was just like, well, I'm going to dive fully into this and like really see what I can do with React Native and like really like stretch myself learning the stuff. And then it's been seeing success. I've got like over 500 users now, and several of like not 500, but a few of them are paid enough to where like there's already seeing some of that momentum. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I've been leaning in as my theme of the year. So leaning in, and like I think part of it too is I have a big list of things I still want to add. And so I'm just like really excited moving forward quickly with building this stuff.
Like the ADHD talent is having a lot of ideas. And maybe people could see that as a bad thing. And we were talking about before the call. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Like that you can have these ideas and kind of chase them.
Yeah, because we were talking before the call a little bit about how sometimes it's framed the idea that, you know, people with ADHD have lots of different ideas. And there's almost this thought of like, oh, we need to learn how to kill ideas and like choose what not to follow and stuff like that. And I kind of just bristle at that notion. I feel like I love that I come up with lots of ideas. And I don't think that trying to figure out what is the most feasible and then killing the ones that aren't, like that doesn't really feel like a successful path forward. Like for me, it's the leaning in. It's really like, what is that thing, that idea that pops up or whatever. And I keep coming back to, and I keep thinking about it. Like there's something to that. There's something to that sort of intuitive nature, or that like something about an idea that continues to call me to it. I want to follow that more, because I think that is where kind of that product intuition kind of comes from, like feeling like there's something here. And even if I can't describe it, and I feel like I've had this in the past where I've felt strongly about something, but I've struggled to describe it for somebody else, like particularly in business, where I like feel really passionately about how to do a certain feature or something like that. But I have a hard time articulating why I feel that so strongly. But yeah, I feel like that happens to me a lot. And it rarely lets me down, like following kind of where that intuition leads me. My gut never steers me wrong, or rarely steers me wrong.
Well, it's because it's interest, right? We know that Jesse, you can quote something from your book on this, but if something's in like the flaw in the term attention deficit hyperactive disorder is that it's actually, if there's something we're interested in, there's copious amounts of attention. Yeah. And I think that's kind of, and the side of this is It's like, is it interesting? That's maybe one pull. Do I feel like beholden to somebody else to fix it? Like Marie, with your like solving that problem in like 5 hours, probably would take someone else like a lot longer. And then like, so something else depending on me. And then probably also just like, can I get my hands around, like, can I just start? Can I just like, I feel like I can solve it. Like I have the ability to just start fleshing it out, either writing it down, posting something. Like for me, sometimes I'll just actually just hit record on my phone and just like post a video asking about it. And I'm like, I'm just looking for one comment. You know, I'm just looking for someone like to say like,
right.
Yeah, I think I like that's exactly what I need. Just to kind of give me a reason to rabbit hole, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of that really kind of lines up with, like you mentioned in my book, I talk about the 4 C's of motivation in there, the captivate, create, compete, complete. And those are kind of those factors that I think do come up with this. Like when you have these ideas, like when it captivates my attention, when it's something like creative and new, when it's something that's like challenging, it's like a puzzle for my brain to solve, like all that stuff really pulls me forward and leans me into these ideas. And I think that is part of the reason, like when I have a random idea and then like 2 weeks later, it keeps coming back and there's something there. It's kind of like this, there's a little bit of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, I think, where part of it is that there's something interesting, unique about that idea, that product intuition or vibes or whatever is like calling me to it. But also the fact that it's interesting to me still after a few weeks means that I'm going to have that motivation to do it. Yep. And so there's part of that too, where I think my brain is seeing that signal of like, ooh, we've got a little thread of interest here. We can use that to get some real stuff done. Like there's going to be sort of that motivation energy behind me if I decide to really tackle this idea. And so there's something about that too, where I think our brain is really good at finding those things and knowing that like, even if I don't know why I'm interested in this thing, or I can't even totally see why business sense, if it's going to work out and things like that, I can see that I'm going to be able to do this really well. I'm going to be able to have that energy to get a lot of stuff done and really just like dive fully in.
And also if you don't do it, sometimes it kind of just lives like rent free in the back of your brain and you keep thinking about it and you're spending time and energy thinking about it. So sometimes it's better just to do it and then do what Sharon's doing, like testing different things. I'll do it. And then I guess just to add slight nuance on top of what we're saying is like, do it, but then test if it works as a business, because that is a factor too. Like this is, balancing like that motivation, but also money, because I think there's 2 things that make a business fail: motivation and money. For me, it's like everything fits into those 2 broad categories. If you don't have the motivation, you're not going to keep doing it, obviously. And following your gut feel ticks that box because you're so passionate and interested in it that you keep going and you want to keep going. But there is that money side too. Like you've got to figure out if it's a practical thing for the business. But I guess the broader point we're trying to make is like for that motivation bucket, following your gut feel can be a really good thing. But then also keeping the practical side.
I think the money in the background is obviously a wise advice, but I feel like there is a precursor to that, which is just like, does anybody freaking want this? Because I think that there is,
and that's where your testing comes in.
Those initial pulls have to come. I mean, because I don't know, at least in consumer products, SaaS, B2B, like trying to get something stood up and having someone actually pay for it is really the signal. Those are bigger ticket things. And it has to be a little bit more fleshed out usually to get a business to buy it, right? You have to kind of be a little bit more polished. But like consumer, it could be like the pull to refresh thing you were talking about from Tweety. Like that was what the company became known for. And it was integrated into Twitter. That did you say they were acqui-hired to Twitter? Whatever.
I believe so, yeah.
They found success with just something they thought was cool, and so other people thought was cool. There are multiple ways to win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I spend a lot of time thinking about money too. You don't. I'm not discounting that, and revenue is something I need definitely. But yeah, there's also these little like, okay, does anybody want this? Like anybody?
So for Flux, if I had spent all the time I did kind of the end of last year and then kind of going into this year, and then launched it publicly, and like 20 people downloaded it and no one did the paid version or anything, well, then I might have ended it right then and be like, well, that was a fun experiment, and then move on to the next thing. But I've learned a lot about how React Native works. And I think I mentioned a few weeks back, I've taken some of that learning back to the wavepal app. And so I've done some changes there on the things I've learned there. And that still would have been worth it. But there are a couple of things. Like one, there was more buzz around it than I was expecting at the start, which was great. There was like significant other like developers in the Blue Sky kind of community talking about it. And people were referring to like, oh, have you guys tried the new app? And like things like that, which was super cool. And so there was a lot of those kind of little early signals. And I've had a few people now that are like saying like, this is like the best app there is for Blue Sky. This is my preferred way to use it and things like that, which is really cool. And that's also why I put like the premium version in there. Like I knew I wasn't going to suddenly be making like 10K MRR from this app, but it was kind of like putting it in there so that I had that signal. I wanted that on the initial launch of like, will anyone pay for this, or is that not a thing? Because that's something to consider going forward too. And I've had enough people pay, even though right now all it does is give you like an accent color and an app icon.
Yeah.
That's like some really good signal of like the price I put is enough that some people are willing to pay, even at this app that to me, to me is like very limited, like feature scope. You know, there's there's a bunch of stuff I'm missing, and people were still willing to pay for it because they're sort of what's like picking up what I'm putting down. Like they're enjoying the same vibe that I intended behind like the app, and so
it
that's
was like your
some good sign.
minimum extra thing you could charge for, kind of like that. I feel like that's such a good reminder too, because I spent a lot of time thinking about premium features for Shelpful. Like we have kind of this great base product that includes a lot, but I really spin on like what's the cutoff? Where can we make it premium? And like you just something so simple, colors. You know, like it's such a good reminder to me of like, it's not that complicated. Just if something cool, something fun, just try, you know?
Yeah. I think I kind of felt too when I was making those decisions in Flux was for someone that doesn't buy Pro, I want them to feel like they still have quote unquote the whole app. I don't feel it would grow if it was paid. If it was like paid only to like use some pretty core features, people wouldn't talk about it. People wouldn't share it. And that I think is really important for like a social app, like client app like that. Like for me, if it does wildly successful, my expectation is that 95% of people are using it for free, and that's fine. I feel like that's part of the model of what that app is that most people are going to use it for free and then speak highly of it to other people, and then some people will want those couple of extra like premium features, and then they'll pay for it, and that'll be enough hopefully to sustain it kind of going forward. That pricing thing is definitely tricky depending on what the app is. Well, especially for like Shelpful, because you have like it costs you money because you're using like AI tokens for certain things. So you can't just give that away for free.
We can't. It's like literally, I mean, like a charity case. Like watch us slowly die as I give you a free app. It costs us money.
One of the best like free to premium things I saw, and I can't remember the exact product, but it was like I think it was a coding tool or an editor or something, like a coding editor. And you got to use it for free for a certain amount of time. And after that time, you could still use everything, but they changed the font to Comic Sans.
Oh, brutal.
Right? But I was like, that is brilliant. Like, if you want to continue using this, you pay for it to get normal font, because developers are not going to code in Comic Sans. I would pay for that
if I was using it.
I was like, that's brilliant. It's like know your audience. And it wasn't anything fancy.
Amazing.
It's like you could still use the whole thing, but your font's going to look just silly. So I'm going to pay to get myself like a regular font.
The carrot or the stick, right?
Yeah,
that's the stick.
I thought it was so brilliant.
Well, it's also fun because that becomes a thing people talk about.
Yes.
Yeah.
That becomes like a reason to like people, I'm sure lots of people would like shared screenshots and things like that. It becomes this like free advertising. That's I love stuff like that. That's so clever.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Yeah, we need to scrub this part from the episodes, and we can steal that and claim it as our own.
I mean, I think the best idea is people assume that others are going to do it. I mean, I think that would actually be. I mean, if it's kind of opposite of what you did, Jesse, right?
Right,
like they're making the design worse.
Worse?
Worse, better. I feel like I need to think of my version of that. I feel like I couldn't stomach making people use Comic Sans.
I was thinking the same thing.
A paid app.
I don't think I could stomach doing that either.
But I love it. It's for the novelty, and I think it's like taking a big swing. And I think that I want to do something like that is funny, but that works well for the audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. All right. Well, I feel like that's where we end these ideas. And that's just another example of like chase a silly idea, because that's brilliant.
That's like something I'm sure, like in a meeting, someone, if it's not one person, if it's like a few people at that company, that whatever the app was, I'm sure it's something someone suggested halfway as a joke. Yes. And then they're just like, actually that is kind of brilliant. Like that's where I think.
Or a midnight idea, you know?
Just yeah.
And it took probably like 2 hours to code and submit.
Yeah, doesn't sound difficult to do at all.
Yeah. Oh man, that's beautiful.
That's so good.
All right, so let's get into our picks and plugs. So if you remember, we all of us, since we're such product people, we have things that we just want to share that we've been using for your consideration. But before that, we're going to plug our company. So stay tuned for our picks. Marie looks like she's panicking, trying to change her pick. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I was going to change my pick. We'll see.
Okay. First, let's plug. Go ahead, Marie.
So you can find Llama Life on the App Store or Google Play. Just search for Llama Life. Or you can find it on the web, because we also exist on the web if you're using it more on your desktop or your laptop, at www.llamalife.co. Sharon, where can people find you?
I am at Shelpful.com, or my company is. I feel like I plugged my products a lot on this episode. But yes, social media at Shelpful. I also post on TikTok, like broader automation ideas, and my handle is at automatically ADHD there. And before I kick it to Jesse, remember you can find all of us at ADHD Founders on social media, and you can subscribe to this podcast to make sure you don't miss an episode.
ADHD_founders.
Did I not say that?
No, you missed the underscore.
Dang it.
Pretty sure we have the underscore most of the places.
We definitely have the underscore everywhere. ADHD_founders.
And you can find some of my stuff online. Flux, the app we were just talking about for Blue Sky, is at fluxapp.blue. You can also check out wavepal at wavepal.app. And then I am ADHD Jesse on all of the social media, but particularly on Blue Sky these days. That's kind of where I'm hanging out. Picks. All right, let's go to Marie first, because she is ready to go with her pick today, right?
Can I just say one thing? I guess it's kind of a pick, but it's not. So obviously a lot of people listening to this on just like audio, but if you want to check out our YouTube channel, because we also upload to YouTube, you can actually see like the cool t-shirt that I'm wearing today, which I do think's like pretty crazy. It's a combination of Nicolas Cage and Princess Leia. Wait, I got to stand up so you can see.
Very nice. Yeah, Nicolas Cage with a beret or something on Princess Leia's body.
Got to get that out there, because I don't think I've seen it. I've had this t-shirt for ages, but I just found it in the bottom of my drawer the other day, and I was like, oh, I got to wear this. Anyway.
I like it.
Random. I was going to change my pick, but I think I will change it. It's a bit of a developer-oriented pick, because we were talking about coding editors and fonts and all that, so maybe I will do it. So my pick is... it's a coding theme, so I use VS Code. This is more for developers, but I use VS Code. And I think, Jesse, you use the same theme, but it's called Noctis. And so I'm going to put that out there because, so it's Noctis, Noctis. It's not just for VS Code. You can get it across a lot of different editors, and they have a lot of variants to the theme as well. So if you want one that's not as high contrast, that's the one I use. It's called Noctis Minimus, but there's all sorts of other ones that are higher contrast, like sort of in blue kind of hues, purple.
Yeah, I do
brown.
Noctis Azureus, which is sort of a bluer tint, and I really like that one. That's one I set a couple of years ago, that is a really long time for me to stick with one theme. So that one's been good.
Yeah, and the reason I think it's good is like, I think when you do code, like colors are quite meaningful, and some themes are just so colorful, it just looks like color vomit all over the screen. And I'm like, it's too much color. There's something to be said for too much. It's like, if there's too much, I don't know what's going on. It's too chaotic. I think Noctis does a really good job of like kind of highlighting the right bits. I don't know. It makes it easy for me to read. So yeah, that's my pick.
I actually had a coworker who didn't believe in syntax highlighting. And so he used a color theme that didn't add any syntax. It was just one color for all text.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is a bit extreme for me, I think.
That would be hard.
So I'll go ahead and do my pick. I don't know if I've talked about this much on the show, but I am a big gamer. I love playing video games. And so I want to recommend a game that I've heard a lot about, and I avoided it for a long time. And now I'm totally sucked in. So it's a game called Arc Raiders. And one of the things I kept hearing people talk about it's one of those games it's PvPvE, which is player versus what is E? Everything, I think, where basically there's like a normal video game, you're playing versus artificial character, you're playing against the computer in the game. Like you're doing missions or you're doing the storyline or whatever it is. And then there's PvP games where you're playing like competitive, like Doom, you're hunting each other down or whatever. And so PvPvE is where they sort of combine that. And with Arc Raiders, most of the gameplay, there's multiple people around, and sometimes they're friendly and sometimes they will attack you. Well, for me, I'm much more of a PvE player. Like, I don't really love PvP. I don't really want other random people to be like attacking me and stuff like that. And so when I heard people talking about the game, most of the people were talking about the PvP part. Like, it's so fun because you don't know if someone's going to kill you, and you're unsure of the situation, and that just didn't sound fun to me. But I kept hearing people talk about this game, so I finally tried it out. And what I've found is if you stick to just doing the PvE part of things, they align the matchmaking so that you're not set up in lobbies with the people that are playing more PvP and attacking each other. And so
how does it know? Or just based on your actions that you don't like that?
I think it's based on your actions. So like for me playing the game, I don't know how many hours I put into it now, but I've never shot another player. And so I'm assuming it knows that, and then it's putting me in multiplayer lobbies with other players that have never shot another player. Like, that's I'm cool. There. It's a looter shooter where you're running around and like you're finding stuff and looting it and upgrading weapons and like things like that.
Yeah.
And so now that I've been playing it, I get the appeal outside of the PvPvE stuff. It's just like a really, really well done game. It's like the combat and the controls are very, very tight, and it's just super well done. The graphics are gorgeous, and it's got this really cool kind of retro future vibe that I'm really, really been digging. So if anyone is listening and has heard of the game and avoided it because they're more of a PvE player like I am, I would recommend it. It's been pretty fun.
What's it called again?
It's called Arc Raiders. I think you, particularly Marie, would really love the vibe because it's got this very like, it's set in the future, but it's got very 80s sort of synth music going on. Okay. And it has this really cool
Is it post-apocalyptic?
Retro future vibe. Yeah. So the idea is like the world's been like taken over by, they call it Arc. So it's like all these robots have kind of taken over the surface, and people are hiding kind of underneath the surface. But then you go to the surface to like loot stuff.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, cool. I've got too many games on my Steam. Like I was texting Jesse on the side, like that. You know how Steam always has specials? They always get me because you put stuff on your wish list, and then it always goes, "Oh, your something on your wish list is on special." I'm like, okay. Every time.
Mm-hmm. You're doing this to yourself by putting it on the wish list.
I know.
You're giving them that opportunity to reach out.
I know. Yeah. Anyway, Sharon, what's your pick?
Mine is tech, but it's much less geeky than these guys. Mine is I'm actually wearing them right now, but I'll describe them. There are these retro headphones. They look like kind of the original, like the headphones that you would with a Walkman, like that you'd wear with a Walkman. Yeah. They have the little orange pads on them, but these are Bluetooth. They're like $25. It's JLab Rewind, and it's actually JLab Rewind 2. These are the second version of them. $25, and they're like, I'm kind of in an era of headphones where I've had 2 pairs of AirPods Max die on me. And I was like, I'm not paying $500, $600 for headphones. I'm going to get headphones that are functional, that maybe won't last forever, but kind of do the job for this. And these are good because they kind of do the same thing for me as my Meta Ray-Bans do, because I listen to music on those. And because they're just, they sit on top of the ear. They're not noise canceling. It's kind of almost like transparent mode, where like I can still hear people talking to me.
The
and
original
it's like
transparent mode.
Right. And people know I can hear them because you can see my ear. Like they kind of just sit right on top, because they're not these big cup headphones.
But
they work, they work with
Bluetooth.
Yes, they're over ear.
No, they're on ear.
And so on ear.
Yeah, because there's on ear and there's over ear. The over ear is like the really big ones that sit
all encompassing.
All encompassing. Yeah. So yours is the smaller, and they're on your ear.
On my ear.
Yeah.
It's on ear, over ear, and in ear.
In ear, yeah.
Sitting on my ears. Anyway, I like them, and I feel like they're comfortable to, like, even if you like fall asleep in them, because they kind of just move around easily, and they kind of just slip off. And anyway, and they're $25. So like,
super cool.
Just get them.
Very nice.
I love it. Nice. I noticed them straight away, and my first thought was like, oh, they look like something you'd wear, like one of the Stranger Things characters would wear, like that kind
of
era,
it's like a retro, like, if you liked Stranger Things, if you liked Taylor Swift's latest music video, you will love these headphones.
So to bring it all in, like, I was going to say, in Arc Raiders, I've unlocked like a little thing you can put on your character, which is a Walkman and headphones that look just like those. Nice. And the music's actually very Stranger Things as well. So I think that 80s retro vibe is key today.
You know, one other thing, like, because they look light and they're like foam. If you wear glasses and you wear headphones, like sometimes like the headphones nowadays, like they're too heavy.
They push.
And then they push on the glasses, right? Which push on your head. And I'm looking at you, Sharon, with wearing your glasses and this thing. I'm like, that looks so comfortable, because it looks like it wouldn't push on your glasses. And even if it did,
it's why I put these headphones on instead of my noise canceling, because I have my glasses on and I wanted to keep them on for my current look. So yeah, it matters. These things matter. All right. Well, those are our picks. Please subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. What's the harm? Just subscribe. You'll see what we talk about next. Just do it. That's it. Bye.